asking you for the next half an hour, not to upload, only to listen. To try to listen. What I'm trying to say. No. I'm here, and I accepted to come here to talk to you, because I was told that mainly it's a Uniday, it's for students. And we are here speaking as Europeans, living in Europe, mainly, being facing the challenge of Islam in Europe, and us being, and our kids, your kids, are and are going to be European Muslims. And when we speak about being someone, when we understand the universality of the Islamic message, when we understand the universality of the Islamic values, we understand that wherever you are, you have responsibility. You should come with something. And you should, even though sometimes you're perceived as a problem, you should understand that your presence is not a problem, it should be a richness. How, as a student, men and women, we should understand and how to translate in our daily life, as students, as professors, as citizens, our presence perceived as a problem into something that we know it's a richness. We know it's something which has to do with a contribution. Whatever problem, we have multiple identities, and we have to let the people understand that this is a richness, this is the future of Europe, not to have a single, closed, narrow-minded identity, but something which is open. Universality means multiple identities, same values, same principle, same understanding of who we are, what we want to achieve. So the starting point of us here is to understand this, and as I will show, to be confident about this. While all the people around you, and especially here in Germany, but everywhere we heard this discourse about you have to integrate. What I am saying now that with years, what yesterday was a very progressive concept, which is integration, let us, you keep your identity, you keep your religion, but you integrate within the society. Yesterday this was a progressive discourse. Now it's over. Our point is not to be integrated. Our point is to contribute. So we go from integration to contribution. We stop about old concepts and we come with our understanding. We contribute. What we want is the best and the better for our society. We are here to reform ourselves and our societies, the European societies, for the better. So contribution is the key word now. And it's not something that we only have to say, we have to feel it. We have to be imbibed by it. It has to be in our heart. It has to be in our mind. It has to be in our actions. So the point is that many Muslims speak, they don't show. Now we want Muslims to show and to speak less. To be more active in their, and students here have a very important responsibility. Because all of you here, you should understand that many Muslims around the world, many human beings around the world, they don't have just the opportunity to study. You can study. You are in universities. You can get languages. You can get knowledge. So everything you can get is a responsibility. What you get is a responsibility. You have to give it back in some way. Whatever you have money, give it. You have knowledge, give it. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ mean they are giving with what we gave them. Who gave you this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gave you this, so you have to distribute it. You have to give it in one way. So when you have knowledge, you have to transmit knowledge. When you have one hadith, you have to give the hadith. You have to transmit. This is a responsibility. It's not only something that I give my money, I give my knowledge. I give my money and I give, the status. Because I am a professor, a doctor, all these titles are nothing if with these titles you are not serving the community. If you use the title to be served, go away. If you use the title to serve, come to us. This don't have time. Okay, so here, for you, as I'm coming to share with you as students, I have been teaching for now, I don't know, 25 years, and in universities. Now, I have also been involved in many student activities. So let me come to something which is quite important. When you are in a society, you should understand where you are and what is the atmosphere around you. So let us face the reality of Europe today and look with this reality what we have to provide. These societies around us in Germany, and as you are all coming from different European countries, let us look at Europe in a global way. First, you are dealing with fellow citizens, people who are living around you, with what they hear today about Islam and about Muslims, and what they hear about the future of Europe with all these Muslims coming, the people are scared. There is a great deal of fear around you. So you have to be very cautious. When you deal with your fellow citizens, you may understand, and I will come to this, you may understand that some political parties are using these fears and instrumentalizing the fears. But you, as citizens, you have to respect the fears of the people around you. Because if you are sincere, and you know what is coming in your TV set, in your living room, every day about Islam, if you are a normal European human being, you have to be scared. You know why? Because it's scary. What is said today about Islam and Muslims is scary. It's a problem for the people. So, first, to know that the people are scared, to respect their fears, and to understand that you have to take it as a challenge. How are you going to respond to the fears of the people? Not to deny the fact that they are scared, but to acknowledge, to respect that. And be careful, don't confuse governments and people. You serve the people and you can be critical with the governments. When the governments are instrumentalizing, you are critical. If they are doing good, we are with you. If you are doing wrong, we are critical. This is to be a democrat, this is to be a citizen. So the point here is really to look at the people that are scared. Second thing, which is out of these fears, there is a great deal of mistrust. You say something, and when you feel, you say, oh, I'm saying something good. I'm saying I'm serving the people, respecting the people, think that you don't speak your mind. You have something in you. So there is a great deal of mistrust. Everywhere the people are not trusting. So, one of the problems is fear. Second problem is mistrust. And mistrust is everywhere. So as students, as the future of this society, you should understand that here there is a great deal of responsibility. Third thing which is important, you are living in societies where there is power struggle and you have political parties. We all know today that Europe is going towards more rightist trends in the political field, more on the right. But what we know also is that the rhetoric coming from the far-right parties is everywhere. So, what yesterday was said only by far-right political parties, now is said by many other parties as something which is natural. And in what concerns the Muslims is two things. Connecting Islam with immigration. So, you are citizens, you have a Dutch passport, you have a German passport, you have a British passport, you have a French passport, a Belgian passport, but still, in the minds of many, and the political parties are playing with this, they put you in the discussion on immigration. You are within outsiders, or outsiders from within in the society. So the perception is to nurture a sense of these Muslims are a problem. And then you have all this discussion about Britishness, Germanness, Frenchness, Dutchness, about these are our values, and we are portraying something which is the Muslims are outside. They are not integrable. So we have political parties dealing with this. And when the people are scared, the more you talk about this, the more you get voters. So we have to understand the political game here. You cannot deny that this is the reality of Europe. So, fears. mistrust, and political parties playing, instrumentalizing mistrust and fears. There is also something which is important, which is international issues. Because we are European citizens, and what we want for Europe is justice. We are loyal to the countries in Europe, but we are loyal also to principles. So there is the international scene. When you, for example, today as German citizens or Belgian citizens or Dutch citizens, whatever, you say to your own government, we want you to stop killing Arabs and Muslims around the world. We want you to be fair to the Palestinians because there is something which is unfairness towards Palestinians. We are not talking as narrow-minded Arabs and Muslims. We should speak as universalist human beings speaking for truth and justice. So this is what we are saying to the people. But we know that some politicians, they don't want this. And they will use this to tell us, you are the new anti-Semite. And say, never. You know why? Because anti-Semitism is anti-Islamic. We'll never be anti-Semite. We are criticizing all the governments that are doing wrong. Even the Islamic states that are doing wrong. Whoever is doing wrong, we should be on the side of justice. But when, in the international scene from where we are, we see in Europe people being silent, we say, we are going to be critical, because this is the right way. So, when you have this discussion on the international scene, it's coming, and don't think that it has no impact on you. Of course it has. When many of you were supporting the Palestinians by saying what happened in Gaza was just unacceptable. You had political power saying, oh, be careful, this is a trend which is dangerous. No, we are not dangerous. We are dangerous for all the people who are supporting injustice. We are on the right side with all the people who are supporting justice. This is where we have to be. This is how we have to understand things. So when you know this atmosphere, when you know that all this is happening, ask yourself now, you are young. You are the new generations. You live in Europe. You are European Muslims. What we need from the students now, when we are in this atmosphere of emotions, fears, mistrust, and games, what do we need? The first thing that is needed here, and this is, don't take it superficially. You can't face all this pressure if you don't get confidence. If you are not confident from within, if there is no peace inside, you're not going to confront all this pressure. And then you need intelligence, understanding, knowledge. Because you are dealing with people who are attacking or sometimes playing. So when the people are emotional, be reasonable. When they are playing with wrong things and politics, be reasonable and come with a better understanding. So, and then al-fahm, understanding the environment and to be able to respond. So, the first thing that I wanted to say, you are dealing and you will deal, I can tell you, a few years ago, 3 years before 2001, I was saying to the Muslims that I was lecturing, I said, it's not going to be easy. And I can tell you now, it's not going to be easy. Because wherever you are, if you want the good, you have people thinking about power, you are people who are sincerely scared, they don't know Islam, they don't know you, and they are scared. It's not going to be easy to just appease the people around you. It's a very, very, it's a very, very big challenge. It's not easy. So we really have to understand that the challenges ahead are very hard, very difficult, and it needs commitment and confidence. So this is something which is quite important. Where first? Please, if we are all serious about coming as European Muslims, in European Muslims there is something which is Islam. And Islam is all about what? It's all about La ilaha illallah. It's all about Tawheed. And Tawheed doesn't mean only, I wear my hijab, I pray my 5 times a day, and I am formalistically a Muslim. No. To be a Muslim means that you understand the meanings of things, that you are trying to be close to Allah. It's a spiritual education. And the most important challenge for students in Europe is this spiritual education. I'm not asking you as students to be the first and to forget about the meanings of things. We are not worshipping knowledge. We are using knowledge to worship the only one. Because the Prophet ﷺ asked us, Allahumma nas'aluka ilman nafi'a. Useful knowledge. And useful knowledge is to serve him and to serve the people. Why? Because in the hadith quoted by Al-Bayhaqi, the Prophet ﷺ told us that the best one among us is the best one for all the humanity, lin-nas. And lin-nas means that if you are the best for the people, the first thing is spiritual education. And you have to allocate, be careful. You will have all the degrees, all the PhDs you want, but if you don't go through a personal commitment to a spiritual education, understanding the meaning of your life, why are you here? What do you want to achieve? In which way you are educating yourself? It's not going to happen. You won't get this confidence, this inner confidence, if you are not going through a spiritual education. Spiritual education is your commitment with the Quran, the commitment to follow the Prophet ﷺ, the commitment to be also with the spiritual dimension is to get this inner peace, self-education, to deal with your ego, to deal with your money, to deal with serving the people, the way you look at the people, because at the end of the day, know something. You Muslims, you are at the service of the humanity. لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ means وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. You are the community of the middle path. Why? To serve the people. Serving by witnessing the message to the people. So we are here to serve. So this is where we understand that we are an asset for the society, a richness, a wealth for the future. But this has to come with something which is a personal commitment. And I'm seeing too many students coming back to Islam or being Muslims in a formal way. They forget to read. They forget their personal spiritual education. They forget to come with values. They want to get degrees only. That's good. To get degrees is good. But you need also to understand that here you have to follow a way. And this is where our commitment as students is, please, take off your time to educate yourself, to educate your heart. As students, you are asked to educate your mind. As Muslims, you are asked to educate your minds and your hearts. So be the first one, but never forget the last one. Get a degree, but don't forget the people. Don't worship this. Knowledge, these degrees and things. Be careful. Be very careful with this, because at the end it's something which is important here as Muslims. What also I want, here I am in many brothers and sisters coming from Turkey and living in Europe. You know the future of Muslims in Europe will be also when we will be able to come with Muslims with other origins. We want the Turkish and the Arabs and the Africans to be together in the same room and to say, we are all Muslims. Not only my countries of origin is important because it's connecting me, but at the end, Islam and our presence here is more important than that, because we are universalists by principles as Muslims. So in the future, inshallah, we'll have people coming Turkish, with Arab, but being Europeans now and being Muslims. So we have to go beyond our respective nationalities in order to come with our international brotherhood and sisterhood. This is something which is important, and who can do this? The students. Because you meet students in the campuses, you meet students in universities, so you have to do this. You have to create things with others, coming from different backgrounds, not only with your community. Don't become narrow-minded Muslims, connected only to a specific origin. Look at the future, and the future is open to the world, open to the European continent. And this is why in Europe, we have to do this. Don't duplicate. It's normal for your fathers and your mothers to come here and to be with Turkish people. It's normal. It is normal because this is history. You have to be with your people. And then you move on and you open to the world and you are with others in the name of your principles. So this is something which is important. Many Muslims, many students, I met many students coming from Africa, West Africa, they say, we are isolated because we are not connected to the other Muslims. Why? Is this the teaching of Islam? No. This is a wrong understanding of Muslims. This is not the teaching of Islam. The teaching of Islam is broader than that. So open your mind, open your understanding, and be confident. Confidence is very important as a Muslim, and it's coming from a spiritual teaching. The meanings of things. Why are you doing what are you doing? Are you perceived in this society where you are as a gift? You have to be two things, a gift, but it means that you are going through your own spiritual education. Let me say something here, which is also important, quite quickly, because I think that this is where we are Muslims. You are students, and I said, the atmosphere around us is all about emotions, fears, and mistrust. What do we need from students? Now is three things. Have you heard the Pope once said in Germany that the roots of Europe are Christian and Greek? And this was a statement coming from the Pope, in fact, looking at the past, reducing the past to something which is not true. It's not Greek and Christian, but he was reducing the past because he is scared of the present. The present is this Muslim present. He sent a message to us that the true roots of Europe are not Islamic. When you are students, your answer to this is not to shout, it's to study. And to come as students and to show you need to know the roots of Europe. You need to know history. As Muslims living in Europe, you need to get a sense of history. What is your country? What is Germany? What is Belgium? What is the Netherlands? A sense of history you have to study. If you are to live here, it's very important. When yesterday Turkey was perceived as a European country, today it's out. And we hear the French president saying, oh no, Turkey is not in Europe. It's geographically outside. So geography is changing according to the political interest. We have to come as Muslims. You have to come as students with knowledge of history. So what do you know? When sometimes I talk to some Muslims, they don't know about philosophers, Islamic thinkers, Islamic jurists, scientists living in Europe and have lived in Europe for centuries. We don't know. And we come as new European Muslims. No, it's a new present, yes, but it's an old contribution. And we had Muslims in Europe. You have to know this. This is your contribution. You want to be a contribution, you must be an intellectual contribution. Intellectual contribution is to remind people things they have forgotten. And there is a neglected part of the European history which is not taught. You have to come with this. This is your contribution. And to do this, in campuses, you need to create panels, discussion with professors, with teachers, to come and to talk. Are you attending lectures of non-Muslims? You have to be committed, intellectually committed to this society. These are your societies. Where are you? So the history is something which is important. Now, about the present. What do you know about the institutions? Sometimes you talk with Muslims living in Europe, they say, we are Europeans. You ask them about the law, you ask them about the institution of the country, they don't know. As students, you have the responsibility to come with this knowledge of the institution, of the history of the country. You should be part of it. This is your responsibility. We cannot ask this for our young brothers and sisters who are not involved in studying. But when you have this opportunity, you have to come with this knowledge. Do you know that? And three things are important. Language. Wherever you are, as Muslims, you are coming from Turkey, that's good to protect your Turkish language. But if you live in Germany, you should know German. If you live in Britain, you should know English. If you live in the Netherlands, you should know Dutch. Why? Because there is no freedom without the good command of the language. Who can do that? The students. We need students knowing the European language as they are European. Your language is your freedom. You don't know the language, you will never be free. So this is something which is really important. A good command of your language. A good command of the knowledge of the institution, the law of the country. We Muslims are saying that we abide by the law of the country. the law of this society. Nobody is asking us to do something against our religion. So there is freedom of worship, freedom of conscience. We respect the law, and we are loyal to the law. We are loyal to the country, and our loyalty to the government is always a critical loyalty. You are right, we are with you. You are wrong, we are critical. This is the only true citizenship in the world and in democracy. With you when you are right, against you when you are wrong. The dignity of Germany was the people who were, during the Second World War, they said no to anything which has to do with killing the Jews. This was the dignity of the society, by saying no. Why? Because they had principles. They said no to injustice. So, critical loyalty is what we want. Who are you, students? Are you doing this? Are you knowing something about history? Are you creating spaces for dialogue and come with rationality when the people around are emotional? We don't want the students to be emotional. We want them to be rational and reasonable, with knowledge, understanding, and knowing the language, knowing the institutions, knowing how it works, and the political parties even. You should know that don't be naive in the political field. You know who are the most dangerous Muslims? They are very dangerous. I still have 5 minutes. I will end with this, but I have 2 points, but I will end with, you know the most dangerous Muslims? We have, and I respect them, very sincere Muslims. Very sincere. They are committed to their religion, they pray, they worship God, they are mashallah. But on the political ground, they are completely naive. So when you are sincere and naive, you are dangerous. Without knowing it. Why? Because you are in the hand of people who are not so naive. So they will use your sincerity against your own interests. But you don't know that. We have seen this in history. We have seen very sincere Muslims being played with, being used, instrumentalized by very insincere people. So we need to be very cautious, and this has to come with students. You can't study here and remain naive on the political field. You should understand that some people are going to use. Some people today, they speak about moderate Muslims or liberal Muslims. What they have in mind is not liberal Muslims. It's Islam without Muslims. It's Muslims without Islam. And we're saying, no. We are Muslims. We have values. We respect the country. We are critical when it's wrong. And you are not going to play with us. Because we are studying. Because we know. Because we know the language. Because we know the institution. Because we are ready for a critical, rational debate. We don't want emotional rejection. Get that. Students get that. But you understand which kind of commitment it is. It's very demanding. And this is where we need this. And the last point that I wanted to make, which will be also my conclusion. So, this is what I call, by the way, this is what I call the 3 L's that the Muslims are getting now, showing that they go from integration to contribution. Language, law, and loyalty. 3 L's. And what we need now in the other field is whatever is your specialization. You are a medical doctor. You are a businessman or a businesswoman. And by the way, I'm really asking our sisters, don't transform your presence in this society only with a formal appearance of veiled women. You are or you are not veiled. That's your decision. But what you have to send to this society, with the veil, al-khimar or al-hijab, with the veil or without, what I am a contribution for this society in the intellectual ground, in the social ground. I'm coming with meanings, not only with forms. Meanings, achievement, ends, goals, what I want. My hijab, my khimar is a process of liberating myself. It's not a process of submitting myself to man. I will never submit myself to man. I am getting my peace with God. So this is a very deep message that is needed here. We need women to be visible, but not only out of the dresses, but visible out of the intellectual contribution, the social presence, everywhere you should be here. And the brothers the same. Our contribution is our distinction in ethics. So where we are now dealing with this global crisis, students to study this and to say what are the views, the vision that we can come with Islamic ethics in economy, Islamic ethics in medicine, Islamic ethics in society, some justice. What are you doing for solidarity? What are you doing to help the poor people? All the poor people, not only the Muslims. We are here to serve all the people. So we have to come with this contribution. A student, a Muslim student, is getting knowledge, serving the people. Not only getting knowledge to get degrees, it's I get degrees to serve the people. I come back. I come back to the people. I'm here to serve the people. I'm not here to serve myself. So if at the end of the day, the only thing which matters for you is your income and your money, you are lost. You will be rich and poor. Rich with money, poor with the spirituality. And what we want is richness. Allah, when the Prophet is Allahumma nas'aluka at-tuqa wal-'afafa wal-ghina. Al-ghina, all the scholars are saying it's al-ghina, richness. It's a spiritual dimension, not only the money. So this is why you have to understand that we need students now to understand this. What is your ethical contribution? In which way you are serving? What is the place of the poor in your society, in your life? What is the place of the people who are not here today, who are not being able to study? Are you serving them or are you forgetting them? If you forget them, it means that you have forgotten something from what is Islam, what Islam is all about. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحبه لنفسه. It means that you have not completed the whole faith if you don't want for your brothers and sisters what you want for yourself. Meaning by this you have to show, to look after the people, to care about them. Muslims and non-Muslims. In Nawawi, Sheikh al-Nawawi, when he was commenting this hadith, was saying, human being, my brother in humanity, not only my brother and sister in Islam, in humanity. So my conclusion here is really to ask you to look at the society where you live, to face these fears of the people, to respect their fears, to look at mistrust and to say what I can do, and then to know that there are political groups that are going to play. Never forget your brothers and sisters at the international level. Never forget the Palestinians. Never forget all the oppressed people, by the way, not only the Muslims. All the oppressed people are your brothers and sisters in humanity. All the oppressed. You are not here only to support our brothers in Islam. We support our brothers in humanity when they are oppressed. This is the Islamic message. Having this in mind, you ask yourself in which way I can be instrumental. First, I have to take all the advantages, all the benefits of my presence, knowing the language of the country, respecting the law, and being loyal to my principles and to this society, and then to go for contribution, debate, dialogue, communication, to speak to the people and to be able to spread around the right understanding of my religion, by my example, by my actions, serving the people, as students, and to get this knowledge which is so important. And ethics, we want now students, Muslim European students, to be able to come and to contribute in all the fields, in businesses, in economy, in medicine, in all these fields. The scholars, even the Muslim scholars, they need you. They need the community to be involved in this. So where are you? Are you only connected to the country of origin, or are you going to build the future? Are you people with a memory of the past, or are you people with the mind of the future? Are you shaping this future? This is what we are expecting some students. And never forget to serve the humble people. The first among you is the one who looks after the last one. This is where we are true to our principles. And this is what I'm always saying to Muslims. We need 3 L's. I told you about the 3 L's. And 7 C's. The first one is confidence. Be confident. It means your spiritual education. Second one is consistency. Consistency is implement what you are talking about. You have values, show your values in your actions. Third one is communication. Talk to the people. That's good that you are 3,000 Muslims here today. I have a question. What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do the day after tomorrow? When you are in this society, to remain among yourselves, or are you going to talk about the people? Are you communicating, yes or no? How do you want the people to know who you are if you don't talk to them? What is your responsibility? If you have the language, you have to talk to the people outside. Communication is central. You want to lighten the fears and the mistrust, talk to them. Be the one when the Muslims come to you, they say, you know what, I trust you. Why do they trust you? Because you show that you are trustfulness. That there is trust, you are trustworthy. That you can be trusted in the way you deal with people, in the way you are acting. So communication. The fourth one is creativity. New field. Be creative. Come with new ideas. Don't repeat what we are saying. Have you a new idea? Are you doing something with your new idea? Creativity here is essential. The fifth one is contribution, as I said, to give something. You have what you give. The sixth one is contestation. When you have people doing things that are wrong, no to contest. With respect, but say no. Even with your father and your mother, when they are asking you to do something against Islam, you say, no, I can't do that. I can't lie for you. I cannot obey the creature by disobeying to the creator. I can't do that. So contestation is important. And the last one, and let us end with this, compassion. Compassion is remember always. Remember always, dear brothers and sisters, that we are in front of God. We are before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should know that you are not perfect. You should know that you can do your best, but sometimes you are going to be sad. Sometimes you are going to be alone. Sometimes you are going to go wrong. Know to forget yourself. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of forgiveness. And He forgets. He forgets. No, He doesn't forget. He forgives. He forgives what you can't yourself forget. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of forgiveness. So you have to understand that this forgiveness is very important. Very important for yourself, but also for your brothers and sisters. Try and remember that you have to find 70 excuses to your brothers and your sisters. It means that when you have in this community, you will see people doing things that are wrong. They are going to make things that are completely wrong. Forgive. Learn to forgive. And the Prophet said, find for your brothers and your sisters 70 excuses. If you don't find one, imagine that there is one that you don't know. Remember this. You are Muslims. Structure yourself full of forgiveness with others. And with all this, we are here to serve. So, be the students of today and tomorrow by knowing religion, being confident, and serving the people. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم فاستغفروه والله أعلم وأعلى وأحكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.